For so many of us, feeling broke isn't just a temporary thing. It feels like a trap, right? A cycle that just seems impossible to escape. But what if I told you there are unspoken rules to actually breaking out? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the insights from some of the sharpest minds out there on how to finally break free for good.
This is not just about numbers in a bank account. This quote from entrepreneur Alex Hormozy just hits you right in the gut because it captures the deep emotional pain of being broke. It's a kind of desperation that makes finding a way out not just important, but absolutely essential for survival.
So, where does this whole cycle even start? Well, the first and honestly the biggest hurdle is this powerful mental trap. It's something that keeps people poor, and most of them don't even realize it's happening. Let's call it the broke illusion. At its core, this illusion is all about how we've been, well, pre-programmed. We're basically taught from a young age to see the money we earn as having only one real purpose: to be spent immediately on consumer goods, on trinkets. And this mindset, it's what keeps us trapped in that cycle of earning just to spend, never actually building anything of value. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine your job is playing games at a giant arcade. You work hard all day long, you get paid in tickets, and your entire world becomes about which cheap plastic prize you can buy from the prize wall. But here's the secret, the thing they don't want you to know. You aren't being paid in tickets. You're being paid in cash. You can literally walk right out the front door and buy things of real value, assets that actually build wealth. The broke illusion is the spell that keeps us inside that arcade, spending our cash on worthless trinkets, never realizing we can just leave. So, how in the world do you break free from that arcade? It all starts with a huge mindset shift. This is the foundation that unlocks everything else. And believe it or not, it all starts with just two little words. It's such a simple question, isn't it? But the answer? Oh man, the answer is the key that unlocks the entire thing. This is the absolute first step on the path out. These two words: my fault. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds incredibly harsh, but stick with me. This isn't about beating yourself up, not at all. It's about taking back your power. Think about it. The moment you blame the government or your boss or the economy, you are literally handing them control over your financial life. You're making yourself a victim. But saying, my fault? That is the ultimate act of empowerment. It means that if you're the source of the problem, guess what? You are also the source of the solution. You are the one who can get yourself out. Okay, so once you've reclaimed your power, you need a game plan, right? An actual action you can take. The very first, absolutely non-negotiable step is something called the 10% rule. That's it. This one simple number is the entire foundation of the Pay Yourself First principle. It's the key that's going to unlock the door to actually accumulating wealth. And it doesn't matter how little you're earning right now. And the process itself? Incredibly simple. The second you get paid, before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before anything, you take 10% and you move it to a separate account that you do not touch. This is not leftover money. It's the very first bill you pay every single month. Then you figure out how to live on the 90% that's left over. I mean, look at this. This is the fundamental difference between staying broke and building wealth. Most people earn their money, they pay everyone else, their landlord, the credit card company, they spend what's left, and then they just hope to save something at the end. The wealthy, they just flip the sequence. They earn, they pay themselves first, and then they use what's left to live. It is such a small change in order, but it makes all the difference in the world. All right, paying yourself first is how you build your foundation. It's crucial. But if you really want to accelerate your escape from this cycle, saving alone isn't going to cut it. You have to build the engine that generates more income in the first place. Because let's be totally honest with ourselves. Trying to save your way to millions from a minimum wage job is, well, it's pretty much impossible. The real leverage, the real game changer, comes from increasing your capacity to earn more dollars. That's how you supercharge that 10% you're putting away. So how do you actually do that? You do it by acquiring high-value skills, skills that the market is screaming for and is willing to pay good money for. Things like sales, marketing, learning how to write compelling copy, or understanding the basics of how a business really works. These aren't just hobbies, you guys. They are tools to radically increase your income. This is such a profound shift in thinking. The truly wealthy, they don't chase dollars, they chase skills. And why is that? It's because a skill is an asset that no one can ever take away from you. It's something that will generate income for the rest of your life, no matter what the economy is doing. Okay, so you've got the mindset down, you're saving your 10% without fail, and you're actively working to increase your income. The final piece of this puzzle is the end game. It's making that growing pile of money start working for you.
And here's a hard truth about that money. Saving it is step one, but just leaving it as cash in a savings account, that's a guaranteed loss. And the reason is one word: inflation. Every single day, the cash in your account is losing its purchasing power. Your dollar buys less tomorrow than it does today. You're losing ground. And that leads to this really crucial distinction. On one side, you've got what you could call fake money, things like cash that governments can just print more and more of, which devalues it over time. But on the other side, you've got real assets, the things they can't print, tangible things like precious metals or property, or maybe even your own business. This is where your 10% has to go if you want it to actually grow and not just slowly disappear. But, and this is a really big but, none of this comes easy. We have to be brutally honest about the final and maybe the most important rule of all: financial freedom is not free. It has a very, very real price.
This quote from Hormozi is intense. It's visceral. And that's because the process itself is visceral. Eating the glass, what that really means is choosing short-term, intense discomfort for a long-term reward. It means working that second job when your friends are out partying. It means skipping Netflix to learn a new skill. It means swallowing your pride. It's about pulling tomorrow's pain into today so that you can actually get ahead of it.
See, the choice isn't really between pain and comfort. That's a myth. The reality is, both paths in life involve pain. You can only choose which kind of pain you're willing to live with.
And here's the choice. On one hand, you have the cane of discipline. It's sharp, yeah, and it requires sacrifice now, but it leads to freedom. On the other hand, you have the pain of regret. It's a dull, constant ache that lasts a lifetime. It's the pain of always wondering what if, because you chose the easy path today.
So in the end, it all just comes down to a decision. The path is clear, the rules are all laid out. The only question left is the one you see right here. Are you willing to pay the price for your freedom today to avoid paying the much higher price of regret tomorrow?